Hello and welcome to Buildings of Tomorrow. My name is John Lester, and in this episode we'll be talking about how the spaces around us can positively affect our productivity. I'm joined today by Franziska Dolak. She's an innovation manager at Siemens Smart Infrastructure. Franziska, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. We've talked in episodes previously about productivity and our new definition, or the things we have to consider. How do the spaces around us affect this productivity?
So I think, the very first one is that basically any interaction that we're having, any experiences there most likely are happening in a space, whether it's the inside or the outside space. And having said that, we can maybe go a little bit through it, especially those dimensions that you just mentioned in your introduction. But just looking, let's say, at the example of physical health and well-being, I think there are several factors, and I think one common theme across all four dimensions is actually, providing an interface for people to interact with the space, with technology, with the tools, with the services. And taking the physical health and well-being example, could be light, right? How can I adapt that? Isn't it even possible for me to dim it or have more bluish type of light for me to help me focus better, let's say, or more comfortable light for when we're doing a brainstorming session, because it should be a very cozy, informal setting, for example.
Yeah, because we know that the air around us, the lights, the places that we are in when we're trying to be productive, when we're trying to be creative, have a very strong impact on how successful we are in those endeavors.
Yeah. And I think another example is just, finding the right space for the right task at the right moment in time. So how can the building and the space support me in actually, first of all, identifying where there's free spaces, let's say? How can it then potentially even guide me getting to the space, or making sure that the space that I kind of have in mind and I've seen it's free, I can also have it and keep it? Or then if I see throughout the day, hey, I want to have a catch-up session together with you, how can I actually easily connect with you so we can make sure we can find a good way of actually collaborating together.
So having a flexible space, but also knowing where is free, what's available, and knowing what situation you'll be in, whether you'll have an hour or 2 hours or a full day to sit down and start to work on a particular project.
Yeah. And a whole other topic is generally, first of all, the physical layout of the building, right? The way it's built and set up. The flexibility allows its users during the period of use, but also the types of materials that are used. So another huge problem usually in office environments is the topic of noise. So what to do with noise, and there's easy ways of trying to mitigate it by the materials you use. Are you using carpeting, any curtains, or any other types of fabric that rather absorb noise to generally keep the noise level a bit down? But the other question is also, how can you entice the whole community of, first of all, giving information back? So a lot of the problems we encountered in the office space is because people are not aware of what they're doing and how it's contributing to the overall well-being or the lack thereof.
Yeah.
Take noise, right? I'm on a phone call and I'm just getting very, motivated. We're having a discussion and I don't potentially even realize, hey, it's starting to disturb people around me. And so why not create a system where the system can give the information back that maybe the noise level in this general room or area has increased, and then for me seeing that and not being personally like, hey, it's you. You're the one that's the loudest. But giving me this information and then being able to react, because maybe it's just an SMS I get on my phone saying, oh yes, of course, yeah, maybe I could keep my voice on, or actually go into a phone booth if something like that is available.
Yeah. So this is about not just the connection and the people within the building giving information to the building so it can control the space, but also the building giving information back and giving a guidance on how they can improve or be more aware of their impact around them.
And I think you touched on a very important point there. I think a lot what it's about is this continuous improvement. And for that you need information, you need transparency and somewhat actionable insights for different stakeholders in an organization to act on that. Either it's me, because I'm on the phone and I'm also contributing to well-being, but it could be facility management, it could be management level per se, right, making certain investment decisions on how to improve. And obviously there, right, with the building, and that's true for greenfield as well as brownfield type of buildings, right? What are the investment you take in technology, and the flexibility allows you in terms of modularity of how over time can you adapt to changing needs.
And flexibility is a great word that you just touched on there, because we know that you can't build a space that will suit everybody and that will suit every mode of working and every situation that you're confronted with during a work year or the 20 or 30 years that a building's working. So this ability to change and manipulate the space that we're in to suit the needs at the time is a really important aspect.
Yeah, and especially even more so if you talk to building owners or real estate investors, for example, they oftentimes build buildings with a purpose in mind that it's to be used for commercial purposes or office buildings or whatever. But sometimes the moment you're actually planning the whole thing, you don't even know who's going to move in. So how can you really accommodate also those types of needs and have the utmost flexibility, nonetheless also quality and reliability of what you're offering?
And now understanding's changing. Right? So from our discussion, I feel that as an industry, we understand much better the effect that spaces have on our productivity, but other things like health and well-being and personal achievement and happiness. But in 10 years, we might understand even better. So we'll make discoveries as we go, and we have to absorb these discoveries. We can't change every building or rebuild every building every time we make a discovery or make progress in this realm.
Yeah, and that's just where it's super important that you provide some sort of, very humanized interfaces to people. It might be in the building per se, something, that's mounted to the wall, or something you give into people's hand, let's say on a smartphone, but providing those interfaces where people really actually can interact, they have a possibility to take agency of their environment, as well as provide feedback as well. And then obviously you need to also make sure that kind of this feedback loop is actually happening there so that you moderate that, right? So nothing is worse than your feeling of, hey, my feedback, it's going off in this black hole, right? Yeah. No one is ever listening, nothing's ever happening. So why should I continue, giving feedback if it's obviously not wanted?
So collecting that information, but ensuring then that you can see the actionable approach that's taken from that, which inspires you to do it again and continue, and it builds this groundswell and also builds, from a technical perspective, more information and more ability to derive insights from that.
Yeah, to react and really allowing everyone to be part of the solution. I think
that's the perfect way for us to finish, I think. Everyone to be part of the solution. This is a perfect way to look at it. All of these things about productivity and community and achievement, it all comes down to that person wanting to be part of the solution. If you can inspire that through the space, is a powerful thing.
Yes, 100%. And especially if you say getting people that want to and then giving them the ability to actually do it, that's the perfect combination.
And we can all be part of the solution.
Yes.
Amazing. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
And thank you all for joining us here on Buildings of Tomorrow. Please feel free to like, comment, or share this episode, and also ensure that you subscribe to us here on this channel. Let's all be part of the solution. We'll see you again soon.